Welcome to The Complete Teacher, 101 meaningful, bite-sized professional development lessons, each coming with thought-provoking titles, relevant, inspiring quotes, helpful text with anecdotes, data, and wisdom, and action steps. Lesson 70, Practice, Feedback, Retakes, and Testing on Purpose. John Hattie says the most powerful single modification that enhances achievement is feedback. And Grant Wiggins says learners need endless feedback more than they need endless teaching. If you think the purpose of an assessment is to reward high performers with a good grade and penalize low performers with a bad one, you're only seeing part of the picture. A test should not punish, should not be obligatory, and should not be done because that's how it's always been done. The purpose of an assessment is to let students show what they know or what they can do and to offer feedback. What many educators don't realize is that this is something learners need daily. I used to teach my tail off, including lots of stand and deliver lectures, and then experience extreme disappointment with the resulting grades on unit exams. Of course, I had no idea how they would do because I never bothered to check in with them along the way. I didn't let them practice. I didn't offer much feedback, I just taught, or so I thought. Formative assessment and feedback were largely absent from my lessons. John Hattie, a sage on formative assessment, wisely calls teachers to know thy impact. It took me a few years to notice that I hadn't bothered to measure my impact on students or monitor their progress. What's more, I didn't make necessary adjustments to my teaching as a result of that progress. In fact, if you use informal or formative assessments during lessons leading up to a larger test or exam, there should be few surprises when the formal or summative assessment arrives. I'm not talking so much about your students being surprised as I'm talking about the teacher being surprised by the results. If formative assessments and timely feedback regularly occur, the teacher should have a good idea of how their students will perform before the summative assessment takes place. What educators call formative assessment, Mark Rober calls the Super Mario effect. Rober, a YouTuber, blogger, TED Talker, and former NASA scientist, explains that he played video games like Super Mario to gain mastery, not worrying about how many times he failed in the process. No one cares to discuss when they lost a life as Mario fell down the abyss. Instead, they care to talk about how they beat Bowser. Roper's Super Mario effect should find parallels in our classrooms. Students greatly benefit from feedback, not only on formative assessments, but on summative assessments as well. With few exceptions, I'm a huge fan of test corrections, retakes, and the like. This practice encourages students to see the learning process as fluid and to allow them to purposefully re-engage with the content, not to mention the corollary lessons on stick-to-itiveness and work ethic. Unless you know a student is taking advantage of your test retake policy or you really want your grades to reflect responsibility instead of content, only good things can come from having them revisit the material on an exam. Action steps. In the context of your teaching assignment, evaluate how you use formative assessments to prepare students for summative assessments. Apply the Super Mario analogy to your students as they improve their skills and share the analogy with them as well. Need a copy of all the Complete Teacher lessons on slides? Looking for an e-reader or physical copy of the Complete Teacher? Want to browse thousands of other top-rated engaging resources? Check out the links below.